Hi, my name is Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. Imagine a patient who goes to see their doctor, and the doctor kindly suggests to the patient that they could stand to lose a bit of weight and change their diet. But the patient, upon reflection, thinks to themselves, I think I'm going to do it my way. And they continue to live out the life they're accustomed to. A while later, they're back and seeing their doctor again, but this time the doctor is more emphatic. You really do need to lose the weight, and you do need to make a change in your diet. Otherwise, you risk onset type 2 diabetes. But the patient thinks to themselves, I think I'm going to do it my way. And they live out the life they're accustomed to. Later, they're back in the doctor's office, but now the doctor's giving them the bad news. They have type 2 diabetes. Now they're going to have to manage the disease with insulin. And they still need to make the diet changes and lose the weight. But the patient thinks to themselves, I think I'm going to do it my way. It's a good chance that the next time the patient sees the doctor, they're going to see them in a hospital setting, maybe with some serious complications. There's a pattern in that story. A patient who's committed to doing it their way, my way. I've heard it said that there are really three types of people in life. There are people who don't learn from their experience. There are people who do learn from their experience. And there are people who learn from other people's experience. People who don't learn from their experience. I call this category 1 living. People who do not receive information feedback from their environment. They engage in behaviors. They're committed to doing it the same way over and over again, committed to doing it their way regardless of outcome, and they end up in the same dead-end places over and over again. The pattern keeps replicating itself. Sure, surface might be a little different, but underneath the same pattern. The Bible has a simple little word to describe our commitment to doing it our way, my way, without any recognition of the feedback that comes to us from our experience without learning. The Bible uses this word called sin. Sin is not a word to describe people's moral condition, or it doesn't mean that people are bad people. It simply describes people who live out their lives without adjusting from their experience. They don't learn from their experience. And of course, we know the implications. It takes us to dead-end places. The Bible says we're all sinners, which means that we all have a foot in this category 1 living. We're all engaged in experience without learning all the time. And it takes us to some pretty unhappy places. And we know this because we hear it in people's criticism and their complaints and the gossip that goes on in life. This is all an expression of the unhappiness that comes from replicating our lives over and over again, that comes out of experience without learning. There is something what I call category 2 learning. That's learning from our experience. Category 2 life, learning from our experience. And I gotta tell you, when you get into those places in life where you're really learning from your experience, it's exhilarating, it's exciting. In the Bible, there's a story of Jesus coming to get baptized by John the Baptist, who's out by the Jordan River baptizing people. People are coming from all over the place. And I think that water baptism is really an initiation into that category 2 living. That experience with learning. And all the liberation that comes to us from really getting connected in with the feedback loops that happen when we begin to learn from our experience, and all the changes and adaptations that come out of that. When Jesus is baptized in the Jordan River, it says in the scriptures that a voice of God speaks out in that moment. It praises Jesus as the Son of God. For me, it's also an initiation into a category 3 living. That's learning from other people's experience. I mean, that patient who went to see the doctor, imagine if they'd actually listened deeply to what the doctor had said and took the advice and counsel of someone who was deeply enriched by their experience dealing with diabetes and made the adjustments in their lives. Imagine how that would have changed their life. Jesus, when he's baptized in the River Jordan, now has the awakened voice of God inside of him. He's no longer committed to doing it his way, my way anymore. He's now committed to doing it God's way. The living voice of God, the awakened voice of God, will now journey with Jesus throughout his life, and he will enjoy the counsel of the ultimate other.